Have you ever wanted to understand the types of challenges that you can expect to face when undertaking a dual occupancy development project? Well, stick around, because in this video, I'm going to break down a project we recently completed that wasn't without its challenges. It was a project that we picked up later than we would have liked, and as such inherited a lot of issues and challenges. In the end, we delivered the project successfully, but not without some good lessons that were learnt along the way. Let's get into it. Hey guys, Peter Kelly here from Little Fish Property Developments. We help everyday landowners just like you maximise the value of their land through low-risk development projects. On this channel, we share everything you need to know to deliver successful projects time and time again. If you aren't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. 7 Pleasant Road Hawthorn East. Our clients purchased the property in April 2017. It was an off-market opportunity and was purchased at what would have been considered to be the top of the market. The site had a right of way at the rear of the property, which allowed for 2 double garages, which was a great outcome. As the site was sloped front to back, it allowed for the garages to be set down to maximise that northern light into the living, which ended up as a home run for the project. The purpose of this case study is to share the entire story of the project, as there were a lot of challenges that were encountered. I hope to depict how we navigated those challenges and how we were able to get the project back flying straight. In the beginning, our client's initial plan was to run the project themselves, but they quickly realised the project needed serious attention if it was going to end up a success. So they reached out to us here at Little Fish. Ultimately, we picked the project up towards the end of the town planning process, which you will see detailed clearly in the project timeline later in the video. When we took over the project, the client had been talking to builders, and they had multiple construction estimates of around that $2.5 million. The first thing we did was reach out to all of the providers that had already been engaged and established ourselves as the project managers taking over the project. The town planning application was already underway and had been dragging its heels. The issue was that no one had been overseeing the entire project. It was mixed up with many people doing little bits and pieces here and there, which instead of driving the project forward, it was like being stuck on a treadmill. We eventually got everyone on the same page and talking to each other to address council's concerns cohesively and finalise the application. After going back and forth with council several times, we eventually got the required planning permit approval. It wasn't until we started to dig even deeper into the project that we began to realise the enormity of the task that we had taken on. We quickly realised the documentation was all over the place. It had lots of holes, was missing in parts, and the parts we did have were insufficient. So we had to work hard, sink a lot of time and resource into getting it all in order. Now let's look at the timeline. As you can see, the timeline details all the project's key milestones. You'll notice the big gap between the planning permit and endorsed plans. The delay was due to a number of the conditions that we inherited as part of the permit. As a result, we had to redesign significant elements within the original design and resubmit to council, all of which burn a lot of time. A big part of the value that we were able to bring to the project was getting the documentation in order so we could tender out to builders. Our goal, as it is for every project, is to determine the market value of construction and then ultimately align the project with the best builder possible at that level. When we first picked up the project, there were builders lined up to win the job, which was great. The issue though, that they were all throwing big numbers at it, most of which were based around assumptions which we weren't comfortable with. It's human nature to overestimate if you aren't sure of something. This is undoubtedly what was happening. We knew if we got a handle on the documentation, the price range would drop significantly, and we were right. The client signed a contract for $1.9 million without the need to change the integrity or the fabric of the design. The project in the end was completed successfully, and there is no question Pleasant Road was one of the more challenging projects that we've done in recent times. We took great satisfaction and a real boost of confidence taking it from the tricky place that it was to the successful outcome that resulted. Most people would make the incorrect assumption that picking up a project midway would mean that most of the heavy lifting has been done and it will be significantly easier, but in fact, it's the opposite. Picking up a project midway is super challenging. It's always better for all stakeholders if a project is to be managed from the very beginning. The sooner we can get our hands on a project, the more control control we can have over the outcome. In the end, we were thankful that our clients backed us in and allowed us to do what we do best, deliver successful townhouse development projects. We had to take a couple of early deep breaths, roll the sleeves up, and do some hard yards, but ultimately, we delivered what turned out to be a fantastic project. That's a wrap, guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments box below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Peter Kelly. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy developing.